One isn't fixing them. It's simply being there, being present, holding their hand. Loving them enough that they never have to face the hardest moments of life alone. And that is one of the greatest honors God has ever trusted with me. So if there's one thing Grandpa's life has taught me, it's this. Don't wait. Don't wait until life slows down. Don't wait until everything's perfect. Don't wait until the relationship is easy. And don't wait until tomorrow. Families aren't perfect. None of us are. Life gets busy, people make mistakes. Time slips away. But if God gives you the opportunity to stand beside someone you love in their final days, take it. Make the drive. Sit beside their bed. Hold their hand. Tell them that you love them. Ask the questions you've always wanted to ask. I had so many questions I'd ask him, and he'd just give me the wildest answers. I remember one of my favorite ones I asked him was, I want to know how often he kept us, me and my sisters, and he said, he reminded me of that video I used to share of us at Disney World at the pool, and he goes, not many times, 'cause y'all are wild. I guess I understand. Forgive if you need to. Love without keeping score, because one day there won't be another visit. There won't be another conversation. There won't be another chance. And you'll never regret the time you gave. You only wish there had been more. Before I speak to Grandpa one last time, there are some people I need to thank. To Jason Broussard and Pork Chop, there simply aren't enough words. When this journey first began, the three of us practically lived at the hospital for over a month. We took shifts so Grandpa was never alone. When I was exhausted, you stepped in. When I couldn't be there, you became my voice. You advocated for him. You fought for him, and you loved him. People often tell a caregiver, let me know if you need anything. You two never waited for me to ask. You just simply showed up. You made sure I never walked this road alone. Thank you for every phone call, every visit, every late night, every difficult conversation, every prayer. Every act of kindness that no one ever saw or heard of. You didn't just stand beside Grandpa, you stood beside me. Some friendships became family, and ours did. We're locked in for life, as you say, Jason. And I'll never stop being grateful for you both. To Miss Brenda, thank you. Thank you for loving Grandpa so faithfully. Thank you for staying beside him, especially when the days became difficult. Thank you for bringing joy into his life. He loved your adventures together. He loved your outings. He loved laughing with you. But most of all, he loved you. Thank you for loving him through every season. Our family will always be grateful for the happiness you brought into his life. And to my husband, Aaron, thank you. Thank you for loving me through the hardest seasons of our life. Thank you for carrying our family while I spent so much of my time caring for Grandpa. I know there were days you wished I would step away. Days you wish I'd come home, rest, and choose us first. But even when you didn't fully understand why I felt so strongly about staying by his side, you never stopped supporting me. You never stopped encouraging me, and you never stopped loving me. You saw how much this meant to me. And because you loved me, you made sacrifices too. Thank you for standing beside me, for believing my heart, and for helping carry a burden that wasn't yours to carry. I couldn't have done this without you. I love you. And to Grandpa's many friends, thank you for continuing to visit him. Thank you for calling him and for reminding him that he mattered. And most of all, thank you for giving him grace. Dementia is confusing, not just for the person living with it, but for everyone who loves him. Thank you for meeting Grandpa where he was at, instead of expecting him to be where he used to be. Your patience, your kindness, and your understanding meant more than anything you'll ever know. To every nurse, every CNA, the hospice workers, every physician, pastor, family member, and friend who cared for Grandpa, thank you for seeing the man beyond the diagnosis. And thank you for every kindness you showed him. None of it went unnoticed. Grandpa, thank you. Thank you for teaching me perseverance. Thank you for teaching me to stand up for what's right. Thank you for teaching me to love people, and for teaching me that a person's legacy isn't measured by what they own. It's measured by the lives that they changed. And most importantly, thank you for choosing me to walk beside you in your final chapter. God trusted me with your final chapter, and I'll spend the rest of my life thanking him for that privilege. It was never a burden. It was one of the greatest blessings of my life. Grandpa, I love you. I hope I loved you well, and I hope you always knew you were never alone. I hope I honored your life as faithfully as you honored so many others. You spent your life making sure Louisiana music would never be forgotten, and I promise you, neither will you. Your music will continue to play, your stories will continue to be told, and your kindness will continue to inspire. Your faith will continue to guide us, and your love will continue to live on through every one of us. Grandpa, the music isn't over. It's just our turn to carry the melody. Take your rest. We'll take it from here. Until I see you again, save me a seat. I love you. Thank you.
You know, I remember the first time I got to meet Mr. Mike. It was at the induction of Brian Romano into the Music Hall of Fame. And I'll never forget how much he lit up with just being in that environment and the conversations that we had backstage. Very powerful for me. I'm sorry, I'm not good at these things. Then I got to meet him again with Kendall Schaefer being inducted. Then again with Randy Travis. So it goes to say that he's touched a lot of lives and showed a lot of people about Louisiana and the culture and the talent that comes from this state. And he was a beacon to just kind of shine what it is to be down here in the boot, what an impact that this music industry has had, not only in Louisiana, but also Louisiana has had on the industry itself. So Mr. Kendall Schaefer was supposed to be up here this morning to sing a song, and he was a little under the weather, so he asked me to get up here and sing this song for him. So show a little bit of grace for me if you don't mind, as I had to learn this on the ride over here. So. I have seen last tomorrow. I am cold, my last breath. Goodbye, this world of sorrow. My new life starts today. I am standing on the mountain. I can hear the angels' song. I am reaching for Jordan. Take my hand, lead me home. All my burdens are behind me. I have prayed my final prayer. Don't you cry over my body. That's not me lying there. I'm standing on the mountain. I can hear the angels' song. I am reaching over Jordan. Take my hand, lead me Oh, take my hand. God bless you, Mike.
A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Morning. My name is Jason Broussard, and before I get into my story, I wanted to cover a few things. Number one, let me clarify that I am Pork Chop's husband, and Pork Chop has nothing to do with the actual words Pork Chop. The nickname is just a... People ask me why I call her Pork Chop, and I tell them I can't spell Couchon de lait, but it was something that I said on the phone, and she thought I called her Pork Chop, and it stuck. Second thing I wanted to cover before I go into my story is something that just struck me a while ago. I went to a funeral, unfortunately, not long ago for a great friend of ours. And I can't take credit for this, but the preacher described something that really stuck out to me, and it just struck me a while ago. Most of you have probably gotten this card, and if you look at the card, it says Mike Shepard, December the 2nd, 1948. June 13th, 2026. The important thing in there is the dash. The dash is between the day that you were born to the day that you are no longer with us. And the way that this preacher described it is that dash is what defines our life. That dash is what we experienced and the contributions that we made between those two dates. Mike Shepard has a big dash. It's a huge dash. I met Mike Shepard in 2013 at Greg Wright's induction ceremony at Jimmy Lassane's spot. And my mama was dating him at the time, and she invited me, and when she told me who she was dating, I'm like, you dating who? Like, I was kind of impressed. President of the Hall of Fame, that was cool. And three things impressed me the most right off the bat. Number one, I love music. And I also love documentaries, and talking to Mike Shepard is like talking to a live music documentary. The other thing that impressed me the most was his voice. I could listen to Mike read the phone book or menu. Didn't matter, just hearing his voice. And I liked his voice so much that at the time I was at ExxonMobil, I was a security supervisor, and we had just developed a new safety orientation video that we showed every morning at 8 o'clock right across the hall from my office. And I liked his voice so much that I paid Mike to narrate that video. And so every morning for about 5 years, I heard, "Welcome to ExxonMobil, Baton Rouge Chemical Plant." I got to hear his voice every day. And so my mom and him kind of went their separate ways. And let me say this, and this is important because this links to the third reason or third thing that impressed me. They didn't separate because of anything bad. They didn't have an argument or anything like that. My mom just wasn't into the music scene as much as Mike Shepard was. I don't think there was anybody that was, but they left on great terms. And every time I saw Mike, of course, I would have to remind him who I was most of the time because I wasn't near as memorable as my mom was. But when he found out or realized who I was, he always, with sincerity, asked me how my mom was doing, and with sincerity would ask or make sure I knew how great my mom was. He was a gentleman. He treated her with kindness and dignity, and that was the other thing that impressed me the most about him. We would see each other throughout the years, but then a couple of years ago, our paths crossed again, and my cousin was chosen to be inducted into Louisiana Music Hall of Fame. And for those of you who don't know, my cousin is Zydeco Mike, and he plays the accordion. And if you don't know what it's like to play the accordion, the best way I can describe it is like playing a harmonica, running a backhoe, flying a helicopter, and doing brain surgery all at the same time. Besides the pedal steel guitar, that's probably one of the hardest instruments I think there is. But he can play that accordion like nobody's business, but to get on a computer is not his. He can't turn on a computer, and he doesn't know how to spell PDF or JPEG, and I had to send all that stuff for him to Mike Shepard for the induction. And so Mike and I kind of rekindled our relationship, and I noticed that he was doing all this pretty much by himself. And so as we would talk, I'd ask him, you know, Mike, is there anybody helping you with this? And he was like, no, not really. You know, he had a few people. He had Miss Brenda that would help him a good bit. And I said, well, what happens to the Hall of Fame once you're no longer here? And he's like, well, I don't know. I don't think he even wanted to think about it. So I just talked to him about it. I said, look, I'll never fill your shoes. I'm not saying it should be me, but I do know how to run or how to manage organizations. I'm in leadership roles with several others. And I said, I'll help you put that together. And so we started planning that. I spent countless hours talking to him and asking him what he wanted, because it didn't matter what I wanted. It didn't matter what anybody else wanted. This was what he wanted. And what I learned, besides what his wishes were, was what drove him, what his mission was. Because it was unique, you know, and people would ask me a lot, like, how does he come up with who goes into the Hall of Fame? And if you didn't understand his thought process, it's sometimes hard to understand. And sometimes people that don't understand it may question it or not agree with it. The best way I can describe it is, it's like a song. Mike was a musician just like other musicians. When people hear a song, a lot of times they hear the song as a whole, and they appreciate that song. But when a musician hears a song, they hear all parts of the song. They hear the melody, the rhythm, the bass line, the harmonies. And a musician knows that that song takes all of those parts and put it together, and that's what makes the song. And that's kind of how I think Mike saw the music industry. It wasn't about the ones that had the gold records and the ones that had all the fame and the fortune and the ones that everybody knew who they were. They got all the accolades, and he wanted to honor them as well. But Mike also wanted to honor the people that influenced that artist, the people that gave that artist the first start, the artists that never got those opportunities but deserved them, just didn't have those picked in the music industry that was important. It was about every part of the music industry that was important. And I know what that feels like. Shepard, that I will do everything in my power to make sure that his legacy, I'm not doing it for personal satisfaction. I'm not doing it because man that made a promise to a lot of other people. He lived up to his promise, so I got to live up to mine. I never got one of Mike's awards, nor do I deserve it. I'm just a rubboard player with an okay voice. And I'm an okay rubboard player at that. But I got something that I think's a little bit better. I got to stand by his side. I got to walk in his shadows. I got to learn what he knew or learn what he wanted. But even more, I got a new family. To his granddaughters that he loved so much and their extended family, Bliss and Arden and Cheryl, and everybody else, that was my reward. That was my induction, if you will. And I think I did pretty good. I am proud to have been a small part of Mike Shepard's dash. And I'm proud that you're a part of mine. Thank you.
Morning. My name is Glenn Peterson, and don't kind of bristle up a little bit. I'm a lawyer. But in the immortal words of Jason that he just told you, I love music. And I've loved music since I was in elementary school. And part and parcel of my relationship with Mike is, I only met Mike probably about 4, 5, 6 years ago, but in a conversation that I'll not forget, I was talking to him about how, how did these people get to be inducted into this Hall of Fame? Because I was in the same conversation that I had with Mike, I was telling him, I said, I've been playing horn since I was in elementary school and all through high school, and I was so lucky to have a teacher in high school that planted that thing in my brain that's still there, as a matter of fact. And I said, man, even when I went to LSU, I was a student at LSU, and I said, I still continued playing in the band at LSU. I was in Tiger Band. And oh my gosh. He says, you do know that you're in the Hall of Fame, right? I said, what do you mean by that? He says, well, you just told me that you were in Tiger Band, right? I said, yes, I did. He says, well, Tiger Band has been inducted, and if you're in the Tiger Band, or if you ever played in the Tiger Band, then you're in the Hall of Fame. I said, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need. It made my day, but it made me smile. And as part of that conversation, and as a footnote to that conversation, I walked out of my house this morning, and my wife, in her usual way, asked, she's kind of checking me out as far as what I'm wearing to go to a memorial service at a church. And she said, wait. You gonna wear that shirt? I said, well, yeah, I'm gonna wear that shirt. This is Mike Shepard's service, a memorial service. She says, well, but that's going to make people think that you're one of the inductees. I said, I am. Hello, and I'm going to bring this home to her just to prove to her that she knew not of what she spoke. But my parting words to y'all were, I'm so glad that I did show up at this gathering here, because two things. I challenge anybody in here to look at any of these photographs and not find Mike Shepard with a big fat grin on his face. And that is kind of like, I contend that that's what music does. But I think he knew that, and as Jason, as you just said, I think he so enjoyed bringing smiles to all of our faces, particularly the inductees. But then again, all of us, we took part in each one of those things ourselves too, and it was a joy to watch him do that. So I just wanted to let y'all know that it's been I'm a horn player, and it's been kind of a rough month insofar as music hero losses this month, and then I've lost a couple of my real big names this month. But Mike, I get this opportunity to come and say, hey, you know what? Music is kind of one of those strange things that you have in your heart and your soul that kind of help you get through this kind of thing. So in any event, my biggest joy this morning was just listening to the conversations that I've heard out there. And I've run into several people that I've known. I hate, and of course, then again, it makes you realize how old you are, because I've had a lengthy conversation with a couple of good guys in the back, and one of whom it's kind of like one of my rock and roll heroes, but then I realized, and I played with him for a while I was at LSU, but then I suddenly start to calculate in my mind how long ago that was. It's kind of like, oh my gosh. It was fun to listen to the conversations that I've heard up to this point, and I'm sure that we'll keep going on past that point. My last parting shot was in her never-ending effort to kind of check me out when I left the house. Aside from my shirt, that she was kind of questioning. She says, this is my wife. This is normal for her. She says, well, what about these shoes that you're wearing? She's like, your other dress shoes would look a lot better matching-wise than what you're wearing. And I quickly told her, no. You know why? Just wait.
Hey, before Mr. Del Moon speaks, we'd like to give anybody an opportunity who'd like to share any kind of words real quick. Story of Mike, and put your hand up. I'll run over a mic to you. Be funny, silly, serious. Oh, we got a taker. I'm Jason Winters, by the way, Bliss's dad, father.
Mike and I not only graduated from high school together, after one of our class reunions, we became phone friends. I would say on an average day, I might talk to Mike 7 times a day. The longest time I ever talked with him was 4.5 hours. We talked about everything. We talked about classmates. We talked about Westerns and sitcoms and all of his inductees. I helped him get several. Kendall Schaefer and Chase Tyler were 2 that I asked him to induct. He was supposed to talk to Dylan Scott and to Terry Bradshaw, who I know real well. I don't know if he ever got to talk to either one of them, but he was the best friend that I hardly knew in high school because he was smarter than me, but that I became very good friends with. And I will miss him dearly. I will miss his phone calls, our laughter, and all our fun times on the telephone. I will miss dearly.
Side note on that, just I don't want to take your thunder, but I actually called Mike and asked him about inducting Kendall. Mike said, "Who's Kendall Schaefer?" I explained him the story, and probably 3 or 4 months later, he calls me back. "You made contact with him." Oh, he knows who Kendall Schaefer is now. Anyway, great.
Well, I go back 1,000 years with Mike. We met at Estrema High School in 1964. We were in Key Club together, and I had the privilege of being voted the president of our senior class of 1966. Well, I'm a talking machine, but I know nothing about computers and book work or whatever. So for the we did our last reunion. I did it in 2023, and we celebrated our age 75 because, honestly, we had lost 8 classmates in 2.5 weeks, and I just made up my mind, if we don't do it now, it's going to be too late. But when you talk spending time with Mike, there were many days we'd spend 6 hours updating the directory because I would find out all the information, bring it to him, we would sit at the computer and update it. He wrote every book that we handed out from the 10-year reunion to the last reunion. We talked all the time. And he was, I even went with him to his dad, worked at the newspaper. And every year, Mike and I would go to, I don't even know what the hell they call it, but all these super intelligent people sit there and make jokes about each other. Mike said, come on, let's go. My dad said, we can get in free. So we'd go every year. But like I said, we had Key Club trips together, and then 60 wonderful years of spending time putting everything together. And God bless him, in my visits at the nursing home, which I thank God that I've listened to everything that you said today, because I heard the dementia side, which we live with, my wife's mother and sister. But he would look at me and he'd say, hey, man, don't you remember the drummer for Southern System? And I'd go, Mike, I like music, but I don't know it like you. You lived every person. And I was sharing one story a while ago back there. One day we were in there doing work together, and this guy walks in off the street and comes in, and Mike says, hey, you know him? And I said, no, I don't have a clue. He said, have you ever heard the song New Orleans Lady? And I said, yes. He said, lead singer of the LaRue. And I went, wow. But special man. I'm dearly going to miss him. It had really gotten tough after he'd had his strokes, because I don't hear well out of my left ear, and bless his heart, when he'd talk to me, it wasn't the Mike Shepard voice, which I always compare him and Woody Jenkins all the way through high school. They were the orators. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? I gave you those eyes, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And just really honored to be here. My name's Chris LeBlanc. Baton Rouge is my hometown. And really thankful to be in the moment with you guys today. It's always a blessing to share these sacred moments together and honoring our friends who are living and those who are now passed. And you know, I found a lifelong friend in Mike many years ago. Really, you know, he and my dad were friends, which was a stream of graduates, of course, you know. So, but Mike was always really endearing to me. And even when I was younger, playing music and going out and doing it, Mike just, he showed me so much love, so much support. And he's like, yeah, one day we're going to put you in Louisiana Music Hall of Fame. And I was like, okay, cool, man. You know. So, I don't know, 5,000 gigs later, you know. I get a call on a Monday morning, and Mike's like, look, man, you got this, we're going to do this. And I'm like, wow, man. And, you know, it's one of these things where you go and I believe as a performer and a person, you know, we spoke about it earlier with some friends, you know, in the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame is a Mount Rushmore of musicians. It really is. It is the music that, it is the musicians and the music of Louisiana that is American music. The greatest artists are in Louisiana Music Hall of Fame. The greatest artists ever recorded are in the Music Hall of Fame. Every of these people. And so to be in this and living, you know, I thought to myself, man, you know, I have an opportunity that I'm going to carry on for the rest of my life through my friend Mike to go and represent Louisiana music and to be the voice of this. And I'm so very thankful to him. He was a close friend, a really sweet man. And I know that we'll keep this going and go represent Louisiana music because we have the greatest. It is the greatest. And so thank you all for being here today. I want to thank his family. You guys are awesome. Mike is such a sweetheart. And I'll carry on this friendship for eternity. Thanks again.
What an honor to hear from a Louisiana Music Hall of Famer right here today. Anybody else before Mr. Dale speaks? Say again? Oh, doing the video. All right.
Every day, every month, every year that goes by, we see loved ones slip away, we see friends slip away, we see those that we don't want to turn loose of, and they're gone. And the older I get, heaven is sounding sweeter all the time.
Sounding sweeter all the time.
Life has been so good, I can't complain. When I'm down, God gives me strength to rise again. When I'm tired from the struggle of it all, so I listen. Oh, I'm listening for his call. Heaven sounding sweeter all the time. Yes, it is. Seems like lately it's always on my mind. Someday I'll leave this world behind. For heaven sounding sweeter all the time. it's hard to lose a loved one to the grave. But we have that blessed hope that Jesus gave. Someday He'll wipe the tears from our eyes. When we meet Him in that land oh, beyond the sky. Heaven sounding sweeter all the time. Seems like lately it's always on my mind. Someday I'll leave this world behind. Heaven sounding sweeter all the sounding sweeter all the time. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
I wasn't going to get emotional, and then they show all that stuff, and now I got to come up here. Welcome. Thank you, everybody. And thank you to the people that I know that I've heard from that could not be here today who loved Mike and wanted to honor him. And sometimes people don't know, what was this Hall of Fame? How did it come about? What was it that Mike and I had in common? How did he come together with me to do it? So I'd like to just briefly tell you the brief history, how I came here, how we got together, and then talk about his accomplishments with the Hall of Fame and where we're going from here. So I don't know much about Mike's early life because I came here from California in 1971 to LSU. So all that history was new to me. Even the music of Louisiana was new to me. You know, you hear Dixieland at Disney World, but I found out very quickly going to LSU, and I got involved with putting on campus programming. I got to meet promoters, got to meet big stars, started to think I might have a career in this, either as a writer, as a promoter, as some kind of road guy or something. I wanted to run away and join the circus because everybody wanted to be in rock and roll. Everybody like me wanted to be a Rolling Stone writer. But then I got an epiphany in early on, and believe it or not, it came from George Harrison. He was playing LSU, I was the chairman, and I got the right to go to the airport to pick him up and bring him back. And he sat in the middle of the car with me, touching me, and started talking about the praises of New Orleans music, all the great musicians in Louisiana, how much that was such an influence on him, how he loved all of it. And he asked me, is Ernie Cadeau still live in Baton Rouge? I didn't even know Ernie Cadeau was there. I barely knew mother-in-law at that time. So he taught me something, got me thinking. If these cats are his heroes, I got it all wrong. I got to know more about this. So the rest of my education career, as I became a writer and moving forward,
I started focusing on the roots. Where did this come from? Why did I not know that that song I thought I knew was really done by this guy first? So I'm like everybody else from around the country. So as I pursued my career and started working for the Gree magazine and then Advocate, and then got on with, right before I got with Channel 2, I started talking about the music of Louisiana and why it was not being appreciated more out of the state. And it wasn't even really being appreciated in the state. Kind of like the prophet in his homeland. It's so ubiquitous. It's so much and found everywhere that you think it's like that everywhere. It's not. And I knew that. And that's what made me a little bit different at that time. And so in 1978, I was having a beer with a good friend of mine. His name is Christian Allman. He went by the name Are You Eddie in the Gree and the Advocate, a great writer. And we were good friends. And he listened to me bitch and moan all the time. So we're drinking a beer in the Chimes, and I said, oh, these people, another one died and there's not getting recognition. Somebody ought to do a Hall of Fame. Eddie looks at me and he says, well, why don't you just do it? About that much time passed, and I went, well, I just might. I don't take challenges like that lightly. And so I'm here to say publicly, thank you to my dear friend, Christian Allman, for kicking me in the ass and saying, why don't you just do something about it if you care that much? So give him a hand. I think it was a good thing. So I got serious then and started research. And about a year into that research, I ran across one Mike Shepard. Mike was very busy at the time. He was working with Concerts West and other big concert promoters, putting on sound and lights and staging. But he made the time, and I was told to talk to him by a couple of people. And I sat down with him, and I gave him my rough ideas. Said, there's no music museum for a state in the country. At the time, it was just the Country Music Hall of Fame. And when I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame, I saw hats, I saw boots, I saw dresses, I saw shirts. I saw everything. You know what I didn't get? Music. When you walk out, there's Elvis, his convertible spinning around in Love Me Tender, or whatever. I said, that's it? My concept was things happen when you walk in this museum. You break a light switch and Louis Armstrong starts playing on the wall. Or you go to there was no digital at that time, but it could have been like a digital phone booth. I said, there's 999 hits. Why don't we put them all on a reel or some kind of a stack, tape? People can go in and punch 1, 2, 3 or 2, 4, 6 and listen to their favorite Fats Domino song. So this is a way we can bring this to life. And we need a mission behind this. The mission has to be to educate people so that they knew how special this is. And for the musicians themselves to keep this going. It bubbles out of the ground. It's going to continue no matter what. But are they going to be really good at what they do to protect themselves in their industry? Are they really supporting each other to talk? He said, I love everything you're talking about. I'm too busy. This is really the state's work. But if nobody else, throw a couple of dimes in on this. That's still, I just lost a good friend of mine. If it's all right with you, I'd like to take a shot at this. And that's when I had to give it up. I felt like I was drowning my mind. We'd become very close friends. We talked all the time. All we ever talked about was the Hall of Fame. You know, he was just obsessed with this music and all of that. I didn't think anybody could be more passionate than me about this. About this. He was also homitively the value of it. And no. He talked with a lot of people. He could be done a better way, I'll say it. But after that, my watch is over. I'm just a voice. This is your time. It's your decision. And I'll back you no matter what. And I've stood beside him come hell or high water. a lot of great things have happened. He's touched a lot of hearts. He healed a lot of other hearts. I love telling the story, and it was in the press release about his passing. He gave away, he did his inductions on stage in the Artisan Milieu in front of their supporters. He didn't like black tie affairs. He wanted it to be organic. He wanted it to be meaningful. So sometimes he did inductions when the artist could not be performing. And the one I like to tell is that he caught wind that Benny Spellman, who had Fortune Teller and a couple of other big hits in the